Hello, staff. This is Dr. Saxon once again with the next in a series of short presentations about learning how to, or bolstering, or putting another tool in the toolbox on the concept of classroom management and class discipline. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about the first day of school, which is the most important day of the school year in terms of success or failure in your classroom in developing a system that works. What you do on the first days of school will determine your success or failure for the rest of the school year. And you either win or lose your class on the first days. I couldn't wait for the first day because I always thought it was go time and show time. What I wanted to do is to make sure my students knew two things. One is that I could handle them, and the second is that I cared deeply about them. As an effective teacher, the master teacher, one of the things that you'll make sure that you do for the first day is have a positive statement on your expectations for the first day of school. What are they going to learn? Where are we going to go? How are you going to process the learning together in your classroom? What's it going to like to be there? And then the other thing is that, and this is something we're going to tie in Nurtured Heart with later this year, there's a classroom environment that's created that always communicates positive expectations. We can do it. We can work through this. We can be better than we were yesterday. We not may not be at the top right now, but we will be in a different place tomorrow if we keep working at it. And I'm here to help you, and you're here to work with me and help your peers. It all comes down to that Pygmalion effect that we learned about in school many, many years ago. My teacher thought I was smarter than I was, and so I was. What do you believe about your students? Because what you believe determines how you respond to them. I used to pretend in my classroom that my students were much better students and learners and had many more skills than they actually had. And the funny thing was that they grew into those beliefs that I had about them and went far beyond what they thought they could actually do. I love this picture right here where Christopher Robin is saying to Pooh, remember, you're braver than you think, stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think. And so the takeaway from this is that when we're working with our kids, we always say to them, you are smarter. You are able to work. You can be self disciplined. You can master this and do well in school. There's a couple things that students want to know on the first day of school, and they want these things communicated clearly. They always want to know if they're in the right room. This is not such a big problem in this school because for the most part, they are in the right room, and you can take care of that right away. They want to know what you're going to be doing this year, so you can have a list of positive expectations, your major goals. They want to know about who you are as a person, not where you share intimate details, but the things that make you tick and the common interests that you can share with them. They want to know the rules in your classroom. Okay, what are the guidelines to the community that you will be creating? And most importantly, they want to know that they will be treated with respect and dignity even when they cross the line. I think this is especially important when they cross the line because kids need to know that we're still in their corner even though they're acting weird. And at the age of 10 or 11 in the fifth and sixth grade, a lot of times our kids act weird. So on the first day of school, I remember one of the things that I used to do is have information on the board about what I wanted them to do. I had my name, room number, okay, subject, okay, that's a your decision kind of thing here. One of the most important things for me was I always stood at the door and smiled and greeted the kids. I did this all year long, but it was especially important on the first day of school. I gave them high fives if they wanted. We could do fist bumps now. And what I wanted to do is to make sure that when the students walked through my door on that first day, they were welcomed and they knew who I was as a teacher. And they could see that there was something that was positive and inviting about the person that I was. And then I also checked their schedules to make sure that they knew they were in the right location. And you can do that as well because all the kids should have a schedule or receive a schedule in homeroom for the first day. The other thing too is as soon as the kids come in, make sure you give them their assigned locations and let them know, okay, how you're going to work seating in your room all year long. I know that for the first marking period, I had the kids sit in assigned seats. It helped me learn their names. We're going to talk more about learning student names in another video. But then as I got to know them, we began mixing it up and allowing them some choice in their seating um, to empower them in my classroom. Of course, this depends on their age and their maturity and how well they accommodate to accepting responsibility. You can do a couple different things, for the kids on the first day of school to help them find their seats. I've seen teachers have kids' names on their desks when they walk in the room. So the kids walk in and find their seat written down. There could be names on a transparency on an overhead or on the whiteboard so kids can go and find it and then have a seat. I used to let the kids sit wherever they wanted to and then get them up, set up against the wall, and then seated them in alphabetical order. It just helped me with memorizing the names quicker. And then once they got seated, we got down to the task at hand for the first day. First day of school, one of the things that is good to have, and this helped me do logistical classwork problems, is I always had an assignment to work on first at their seats. The first day, the first thing I always had the students to do was a survey so I could get to learn a little bit about them. It's something that should be short, easy to complete, and which students can complete with success. But it's also a tool that you can use to then take and begin to get to know some of the things that matter to your students and some of the quirks that they have as human beings. As a master teacher, the master teacher is always ready for the first day. The work is ready. You know what you're going to have them do on that first day. The room is ready. It's fully decorated the way you want it to be. And most importantly, the teacher is ready. As I used to say when I was in the classroom, it's showtime 5 times a day, 5 days a week, 40 times a year. Once again, you are the key element in the classroom. And what you decide to do and how you decide to respond and act to what the students do, okay, determines how they're going to perceive being in your classroom. You have tremendous power. I've said that many times. And it's the choices that you make. It's the choice that you have to either react or respond. It's how you set the stage for the first day that's going to make all the difference in the world. So, as a high priority thing on the first day of school, there are some things that you should do right away. Number one, start learning the student names. That's so important in this time. We were recovering from COVID, and students kind of felt isolated and forgot how to relate to one another. Make that your priority. That's going to be a due date on one of our task lists that you're going to receive from me. Do the interest survey, okay, so you can get to know them, gather that information for every student, and then review it and start working it into your comments as you work with the kids in the ensuing days. Also, start practicing procedures that you can take and turn into routines so the kids learn what you expect and how, most importantly, how you expect them to act and do things in your classroom when different events occur. We're going to get to more of that later on. And then finally, you also want to take and share your rules. By doing some of these simple things, you can set the stage for a very successful year in a very short time in a very powerful way that makes a difference in the way your school year is going to go. So, good luck. We're going to talk more about the first day, but I know you got it in you to really have a powerful impact and create that idea in the kids like, wow, this is really a cool place to be. I want to be here.